welcome to BonVoyageTV. I'm Jared Murphy from Bon Voyage Cruises and Travel. This is our TV show and I'm joined by Olivia Van Leerop.
Evening.
Hi Olivia, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. It was a lot of fun last week with our New Zealand's Best Packer competition.
Yes, it was fun, definitely high energy, but I found it extremely stressful. I very much dislike being a judge because I just wanted everybody to win. It was really sad. I mean, everyone made these amazing trips to come up here, you know, and yeah, I just felt like I wanted everyone to walk away with a big fat prize, but
you can't have everyone win.
I know it's not how it works, but yeah, next time I'll just sit on the sidelines, I think.
Three of them won. All three got
yes.
some luggage for Voyager luggage.
Yes, they did. And I've heard that we sneakily have one more to give away. Is that right?
Voyager luggage have been very kind and they've come to the party. So one of our viewers now has a chance to win. We have one Voyager luggage suitcase to go to a lucky winner. And we'll tell you a little bit later on the show how you can win that.
Yay, very exciting.
It is.
Yes. Okay.
Have you been to Canada?
Yes, I have. I was on a boat that we started in the Bahamas and then we travelled up. We went through the Panama Canal, all up the west coast of America, and then we went through the Inside Passage up through to the west coast of Canada and all the way up to Alaska.
Yeah, so you've really done it well.
Yes, yes.
And you like Vancouver?
I loved Vancouver. It was absolutely beautiful. Yeah, just I mean, the people there, the culture, everything.
Very friendly, very scenic.
Yeah, very similar to New Zealanders, I felt.
Well, it's quite like Auckland, but the thing I like about Vancouver that Auckland doesn't have is a ski field just where Devonport is.
Yeah.
It's rather handy.
Yeah, they've got everything, and then they've got the beautiful seawall that I cycled around.
Yes, the seawall. I've cycled around there as well.
Yeah.
Vancouver's a great city to cycle in. There's a few hills, but not too many, and they've got. I can tell you how long the seawall is because I've run around it.
Oh, you can one up me.
Yeah. So it's about 12 kilometres, or just over 12 kilometres, if you start in your hotel in the city.
Yeah.
And go down the seawall, go right around. It takes you past the bridge that goes to the North Shore, and that's like a little Golden Gate Bridge.
Yep.
Except it's only 3 lanes. They didn't have much foresight.
Yeah.
But it was built by a private guy, so he didn't spend much money on it. You go right around there, so you come with fantastic views into Puget Sound, which is the waterway there, and right back into the city.
Yep.
It's just over 12 kilometres.
Yeah.
And
it's stunning.
That goes right around Stanley Park, which is, I suppose, the equivalent of Auckland's Domain, but it's a coastal thing, and that's just fantastic.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful area.
Wonderful. I'm just remembering that I actually had a forced holiday in Vancouver because I was in San Francisco at a festival and my passport got stolen. And so we were going to Alaska for a boss trip, and I couldn't actually go and work in Alaskan waters, in American waters, until I had a new passport and new visa and stuff. So I had to actually fly to Vancouver, and that's where I stayed for a week while everything was getting approved. So yeah, an unfortunate place to stay, not?
No, it's a great city.
Yeah.
And the reason I brought up Canada and Vancouver is shortly we're going to watch an interview I did with Mark Richardson from Mountaineer, which is a wonderful train touring company right through the Rockies. They only do the Rockies and with some cruises added to Alaska.
Yep.
That's all they do. It's a specialist area.
Awesome.
So we will hear from Mark in a minute.
Lovely.
After the break.
Okay.
At In Vivo, we've got the biggest crush on Graham Norton. So we flew all the way to his place so he could have a crush on us. Graham Norton's own Sauvignon Blanc. Southern Hemisphere grapes meet Northern Hemisphere fab.
The spirit of our home lives in moments like these. Hawaiian Airlines. Hawaii flies with us.
Welcome back. We're now joined by Mark Richardson from Rocky Mountaineer, which is a fantastic tour company specialising in the Rockies in Canada. So welcome, Mark.
Thank you very much, Jared.
Good to have you here.
Yeah, very much so.
So, as I said, Rocky Mountaineer specialises in Canada and the Rockies. Give us a little bit about the history of the company.
Yeah, well, the Rocky Mountaineer started back in 1990. The Canadian government was looking to privatise some of their tourist railways,
Right.
and sell them off. And the Rocky Mountaineer was actually awarded the rights to run trains on those particular routes and purchase equipment from the Canadian government back
Right.
in 1990. And then this year, 2015, celebrating their 25th birthday. And they've become one of the biggest luxury train operators in the world, and certainly is an iconic brand known around the world.
Right, so they're actually younger than my travel history. So
Yeah, mine as well, yes. Good
I do
point.
remember them starting, and they've come a long, long way and won some fantastic awards. And I'm just going to quickly read some of them. Travel and Leisure magazine, one of the best life-changing trips. Condé Nast, among the top 5 trains in the world. Best train experience in the world. Best luxury rail service, and top 10 iconic train excursions from USA Today. So in the short time frame, it's a fantastic list of awards you've won, and everyone we've sent on Rocky Mountaineer absolutely raves about it. So what's the difference between the Rocky Mountaineer experience, and there are other trains running on some of these lines? What are the big differences?
The big difference with the Rocky Mountaineer is that it's a unique luxury train experience that only runs during the day. You don't actually sleep on the train. A lot of people don't realise that at night you actually stop and go into a hotel, so you don't miss any of that beautiful Canadian scenery.
Right.
And they also talk about the 4 S's with Rocky Mountaineer. Of course, the scenery, speaks for itself. It's second to none in the world for the amazing scenery. They also talk about the sweet and savoury on board. All of the food is inspired by the region. The salmon is from British Columbia, the beef from Alberta, even the wine and beer is all local produce on board. A big part of the train, the Rocky Mountaineer, is the social side of things, the socialisation, the ability to get up and walk around and meet people and discover new friends. And of course, the 4th one is the service. You have onboard hosts serving you free drinks and snacks all day. You have a culinary team serving your food. There's commentary as you go along, and it's all very relaxing on board.
That's one of the things that people come back to us and say, the service is fantastic. It's not just on the train, because as you said, you're off the train at night and into a hotel. And some of those hotels are really the ones that people really want to stay in the Rockies. And that total service is in terms of baggage and check-in and everything else. So it's not just on the train. You also have a lot of day excursions and some coach content. So how does that all come together?
Yeah, so we have, in 2016, we'll have 4 different routes. We'll have the coastal passage going from Seattle up to Vancouver.
I actually did that.
Oh, fabulous.
No, not on Rocky Mountaineer. I did that on Amtrak.
Yes.
And I shouldn't bag Amtrak, but I have to say it was one of the worst meal experiences I've ever had.
Oh, okay.
Microwaved macaroni cheese, and it was, I can eat most things, but that I had to set aside.
Oh, no, on
The actual train experience was okay,
Yeah,
and
the food,
the route and the scenery is fantastic, but I'm sure Rocky Mountaineer would never serve macaroni cheese like that.
No, that's right. No, you'll be having a beautiful 3-course dinner as you're heading north into Vancouver, watching the sunset. Truly magnificent. Then we have 3 packages from Vancouver. You can go in either direction. The Rainforest to Gold Rush is a 3-day, 2-night package up to Jasper. And then from Jasper you can continue on down the Icefield Parkway by coach, or you can also do self-drive down to Lake Louise, Banff, Calgary. We then have a 2-day, 1-night package called the Journey Through the Clouds, and that heads up to Kamloops for a night in a hotel, and then up to Jasper as well. And again, you can link in with your car hire or your coach tour. And then there's the First Passage to the West, another 2-day, 1-night package that finishes in either Lake Louise or Banff. And again, you can continue on by coach or car hire as well. And also from Vancouver and Seattle, we link into the Holland America line inside passage cruises as well.
So with those 4 routes, there's over 25, 26 different tour options. So it's a wide range. Anything in the Rockies they're going to be able to see with Rocky Mountaineer.
Absolutely, and you can also tailor-make the packages as well once you finish the train journey. If you'd like to have more nights at the start and finish, we can tailor-make that to work for guests as well. So cities that I mentioned before, like Seattle, Vancouver, Jasper, Lake Louise, Banff and Calgary, we can add nights to those destinations as well, and we can take them away to really tailor-make the packages to work.
It's more flexible than the average tour.
Very much so, very much so. And you mentioned some of those iconic hotels, the Chateau Lake Louise and the Banff Springs. We have different service levels. We have silver for 2016 and gold only.
Right.
We're actually removing the red leaf service for 2016.
So that means everyone on a Rocky Mountaineer now has the big windows, and in the gold, of course, they've got the full dome.
Yeah, we can say we're a true all-dome fleet in 2016. And also on board the train, everything is now included. The drinks, the food, nothing to pay for on the train. But if people wanted to upgrade to a special hotel in Banff or Lake Louise from the Silverleaf package, we can do that as well. The Silverleaf package stay in comfortable hotels, Holiday Inns, International Hotel in Calgary, etc. And the Gold Leaf stay in the more iconic Fairmont properties, Banff Springs, and
some of those are just gorgeous hotels.
And then we have another product.
They're very hard to get into too. So if people aren't
hard.
doing a tour through the likes of you guys, we have tried to get people into the Banff Springs hotels and some of those hotels, and no way. It's a short season and very busy.
Short season, yeah, and that's a very good point. Is to book early if you can to get into those hotels. We have another product called Gold Leaf Deluxe, which is nothing different on the train, but it actually gives you a lake view room at Chateau Lake Louise or a harbour view room at the Fairmont waterfront, and those rooms do book up very, very fast.
And Mark, can you give us an idea of what's the, it's not, you can't really say a typical day because the scenery changes with the weather and the time of the year, but the actual train journey, what would be a typical day on the train?
Well, we normally say 8 to 10 hours on the train. It is a working railway. We do have to wait for other trains, but a typical day is 8 to 10 hours. I did the first passage to the west back in April, leaving Banff for a night in Kamloops and then on to Vancouver. And it's a typical day is you don't want to get off the train.
Right.
You get on board.
No, it's going to end.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, you don't want it to end. A typical day is you get on board and the hot towels come round to prepare you for the day. If you're in the Gold Leaf class, there's 2 seatings for breakfast. One group of 34 people will go down for their gourmet breakfast, and the rest of the guests stay upstairs and have scones with jam and cream and tea and coffee.
That's not a bad waiting.
Not a bad waiting at all. And breakfast is very leisurely. You're not in a hurry. You can have a chat with people and meet new people. Then the second sitting of breakfast will take place. Then you come back upstairs. If you'd like a glass of wine, it's all complimentary. They did some wine tasting and cheese tasting before lunch on my recent journey.
That's not bad.
Very nice way to spend the morning. Then downstairs, if you're in the Gold Leaf again for lunch, and that's 2 seatings of a 3-course lunch. If you're in the Silverleaf, the food's actually served at your seat.
Right, so like airline style.
Yes.
Better food.
So what it is better food, I will agree. The tables come down and they actually come along with the food cart and plate it at your seat as well.
Right.
So it isn't, here's your meal, sir. They come along, plate it for you. Very similar ingredients, just served in a different way. And then during the afternoon, there's free snacks, there's commentary that takes place. They have a bit of fun on board the train as well, and always keep your eye out for wildlife. They actually announce that the driver's always looking out for wildlife, and he announces through the train to all the hosts.
Right.
And they hear in their earpieces, oh yes, there's some wildlife coming up, so they give you plenty of notice for the wildlife along the way as well.
Obviously with a working rail they can't really stop, but
no, they do slow down though for the
scenery
and when they can. Yeah, Pyramid Falls and across some of the beautiful viaducts and bridges, they'll slow right down and give you plenty of photo opportunity as well.
Also with the railway, some of these places can't be accessed by road. They're the only way to see some of these places is hiking or
Yes. Yeah.
canoeing or whatever,
Yes.
or the train.
Especially the Kamloops to Jasper part of the journey through the clouds, that really does go up through some wilderness. And also your Whistler to Quesnel on the rainforest to Gold Rush, that actually goes up through some rarely seen parts of British Columbia, and some say some of the most scenic parts as well. Quesnel's an old gold mining town, and then after Quesnel you head up into the Rockies, up into Jasper, and you see Mount Robson, the highest mountain in the Rockies as well on that journey.
So we've mentioned that Rocky Mountaineer tour programs include rental cars and coach. So how does it work on the ground if we've done, say, a couple of days up to Jasper by train, and we're now going on to the coach part of the tour? How does that operate?
You're coming down from Jasper, you travel down the Icefield Parkway, which is one of the most scenic drives in the world. There's literally hundreds of glaciers around you as you come down there. It's national park, so no towns, very few people around. And around lunchtime on that day, you'll stop at the Columbian Icefield,
Right.
and you actually go up onto the Athabasca Glacier in a snow coach. So
Right. These are pretty impressive.
absolutely incredible. Wheels taller than me. I think it's the only place in the world you can actually drive onto a glacier. You hear all about the history of the glacier, and our guide told us there was 1,000 feet of ice underneath us when we stopped on the glacier. So you
That's
spend
a lot of water.
yeah, well, hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's ice, because we're all standing up there.
Yeah.
And then you'll continue down the Icefield Parkway to maybe spend a night in Lake Louise. I really do recommend spending a night in Lake Louise, because you can miss the crowds. During a busy day, quite a few people come as a day trip to Lake Louise between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. So if you're actually spending the night there, after 4 p.m. there's not very many people around. Yeah, and then the next morning as well, you have daylight till about 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night, which is wonderful. And there's also a short walk you can do to the end of the lake where there's a tea house, which I really recommend.
So there is a good opportunity to go off and do your own thing at various times, and you're not.
Yes.
So you're not constrained by a coach or a train all the time. You've got a bit of free time to do your own thing.
And with the flexibility of the packages, you know, some packages in the brochure say 1 night in Lake Louise, some say 2, but you can change that if you want to spend more time there. We can change that as well.
Right. So if you do that, obviously you'd pick up another group of Rocky Mountaineer people the next day, and
Yeah.
so it's all components, and you can be pretty flexible with it.
Very much so, yeah. And then down the hill into Banff, and Banff is in National Park as well.
A beautiful little town.
Beautiful town. It's quite amazing. There's only 7,500 people in Banff, and you can't build any new houses or any new hotels because it's in the national park. So it's still a beautiful
stay that
place.
size,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's fantastic. And in Banff, part of our packages include the Banff Gondola. And again, you'll be taken up to the gondola, about a 10-minute drive out of town, up to around 2,300 metres above sea level for a beautiful scenic view of the area. And also part of many of our packages will be a helicopter ride to the top of the Rockies as well, and that's normally done on the day you're driving down to Calgary.
So that would be an optional extra.
It's included in most packages.
Okay.
So there's a lot of inclusions, not just the train.
Right. But overall, it comes out at fantastic value.
That particular tour for 2016 starts at around 3,400 Canadian dollars, all our prices in the brochure in Canadian dollars, for 8 days, 7 nights, which is very good value for money.
Very good value.
Yeah, in the Silverleaf class on the train.
Now with that, for 2016, there are some early booking specials, so tell us how that works.
Yeah, for 2016, if you book a package in Silver or Gold Leaf of 7 days or more, we'll actually give you $500 towards adding value to your booking. Rocky Mountaineer never offer discounts. They always offer value add options. So at the moment, it's $500 per person.
That's Canadian as well.
Canadian dollars, yes. And you can use that to adding extra nights, extra sightseeing if you want. We don't include meals in hotels. We like our clients, our guests to choose.
Get out and experience.
Yeah, very much so. But you can use that money to pre-purchase some breakfasts and some dinners as well. And you can even use that money towards a Holland America Line cruise as well. So it's a very good time to book for 2016.
And when does that offer run till?
28th of August.
So you've got a bit of time for that early bird 2016 offer, but But of more immediate concern is Wednesday the 1st of July is Canada Day.
That's right, yes.
And of course 4th of July follows it for the United States. But the good news is Air New Zealand have brought out some very good airfares to Vancouver and the United States just around those holidays, which is good.
Fantastic.
And they run basically for most of this year apart from the school holidays in October. And it's $500 off any Air New Zealand economy fare, which is one of the better ones they've had. So have you got anything that we could, for people who have got a bit of spare time this year, and the Rockies appeals after hearing you,
yes.
What could Rocky Mountaineer do to sort of go with that airfare?
Well, we do have a last minute value add option for 2015. That runs through till the 31st of July.
Oh, that works.
And that, yeah, that's a good timing. That allows people, if they book a package of 4 nights or more, we'll give them 1 free night in Seattle, Vancouver or Calgary. And if it's a 7-night or more package, they can also add in an extra sightseeing tour as well if they choose. So there's some nice little last minute offers there for 2015.
Well, that's pretty good. So if you've always wanted to see the Rockies, you can still do it this year. $500 off the airfare if you book that by the 6th of July. And as Mark just said, a great value-added option for Rocky Mountaineer.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so if the Rockies is now on your to-do list, call us at Bon Voyage Cruises and Travel, call me or Jill, or come in and see us. We've got a good supply of the 2016 brochure. It's a wonderful, comprehensive guide.
Very much so.
It's got all the tours in it, all the information. Come in and see us, and we'll go through that with you and help you choose one of the standard tours, or as Mark said, if you want to customise it, we'll be able to help you with that. Mark, thank you very much for coming in. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, describe to me the experience of the Rocky Mountaineer.
It's hard to describe the feeling aboard Canada's Rocky Mountaineer. Experience it for yourself. Visit rockymountaineer.com.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Mark. The scenery through the Rockies is just spectacular.
Oh, it's so stunning, yeah.
I'd like to go back and have another look.
Yeah.
I need to go back and have another look because the only time I've been right through the Rockies was midwinter, and we did it after a conference. It was a post-conference tour, and it snowed the whole way. So I have seen. So I've seen the rocks on the side of the road, but we also went to the most stunning place I've ever been to in winter, I think. It's a small lake called Lac Lejeune.
Yeah.
We arrived there about 4:30 in the afternoon, so it was middle of winter, it was dark. They'd had a recent snowfall. The lake was iced over, there was snow everywhere, and the lights coming up through the pine trees. It was just like fairy tale. It was a fairy tale. It was
beautiful.
So I'd like to go back and see that in summer, and I'd like to see the actual Rocky Mountains. I saw Banff, and it was sunny as we left Banff to the airport in Calgary. So I've literally been through the Rockies and haven't seen them. So Mark, I deserve a trip.
Yeah, and that might be a research trip for me as well. We can add that to the list.
We'll put that on Olivia's travel list. But in the meantime, we'll just recap on the specials that Mark gave us. So if you have a bit of time, want to see the Rockies this year, if you book by the 31st of July on a tour of 4 nights or more, Mark and Rocky Mountaineer will give you a free hotel night before or after your tour in Seattle, Vancouver or Calgary. That's good value. And you can choose between a city tour in one of those cities or private car airport transfers. So it's a good little added bonus. And to go with this, as I mentioned during Mark's interview, Air New Zealand have kindly brought out a couple of specials which coincide with Canada Day on Wednesday the 1st and America's July the 4th holiday. They have $500 off any economy class airfare. And that is a really good deal. So quite often with specials, I'm sorry, that one's not available, it's sold out. Well, it's any economy class fare, so you choose any day, there will be an economy class airfare. We'll whack $500 off.
Amazing.
It's a good deal.
Yeah,
so that gets you for this year. If you're thinking about Rocky Mountaineer for next year, if you book by the end of August, as Mark said, they don't discount, but they will give you $1,000 Canadian to spend on hotels or tours or something to go with your Rocky Mountaineer experience.
It's a nice bit of pocket money.
It is. So that's a good special.
Cool.
Speaking of specials, you're bound to have special items in the news for us.
Of course, of course. So, a United Airlines aircraft was forced to make an expensive unscheduled landing in Northern Ireland last week because one unruly passenger was demanding nuts.
Well, he's hungry.
The aircraft, which was en route from Rome to Chicago, landed in Belfast after the pilot grew alarmed at the passenger's behaviour. He had to dump 50,000 litres of fuel to make the stop, and the passengers had to wait almost 24 hours to take off again because they had broken the crew's legal flying hours limit.
That happens a few times. You get somewhere, I'm sorry ladies and gentlemen, we've fixed the little red light on our dashboard.
Yeah.
But I've worked more than 4 hours. I
Yeah.
can't fly.
Yeah, I've had that happen before as well. It's terrible. Jeremiah Mathis Theed from Berkeley, California is his name. Was charged with, yes, was charged with endangering the safety of the aircraft, disruptive behaviour on board and common assault against a stewardess. The trouble began when Theed allegedly stood up 15 minutes after takeoff with the seatbelt lights still on and demanded nuts or crackers. So
No drinks, just wanted nuts or
yeah,
crackers.
obviously very hungry and very impatient. He refused to sit back down again until a member of the flight crew managed to appease him by giving him some nuts. Well, that's lovely. However,
Sounds like a child with a tantrum.
yeah, it absolutely does. However, 10 minutes later, he got up and demanded more. Crew members replied he would only get another snack if there were packets left over when other travellers had been served.
Well, that's fair enough because there's probably 269 people on board. They probably had 270 packets.
Exactly. It just sounds outrageous. He kept getting up from his seat, repeatedly opened the overhead baggage lockers, blocked the aisles and made numerous trips to the toilet. Theed's erratic behaviour prompted the captain to turn around over the Atlantic and head to Belfast International Airport, his nearest option. So he obviously thought it was pretty unsafe. Asked by a prosecution barrister to assess the cost of the incident, the court was told it would be upwards of £300,000 to £350,000. There is compensation.
It's close to $800,000. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's huge. And it's from there's compensation for passengers because there were 269 on that flight and they had to lie sleeping on the floor of the terminal. Obviously they didn't get put in hotels.
Angry.
Absolutely, you'd think in that situation that they would all be shipped to different hotels. That's what happened in my circumstance.
Depends what time of day or night, and you know,
Yeah.
may not have been any hotels available. Belfast can be a busy place.
Yeah, very true. Theed denies the offences and told police the pilot had overreacted. A policeman said he said it wasn't him. There was a conspiracy theory against him. People were picking on him. The judge also ordered a psychiatric examination.
I think the judge was wise in that case.
I think so, definitely. He sounds insane. So there you go.
Thank you very much, Olivia.
You're welcome.
And as we always say at the end,
Bon voyage.
bon voyage.